during a time of, and it's like all mystical and magical and scary. But what's her name? Journey Smollett is in it. You know who she is.
Okay.
She's darling. Anyway, but you should watch that too. It's really, really good. It's spooky though, so you can't watch it.
So I can't. So you're saying I should watch it,
But not you.
but I can't watch it.
You should watch it, but not you.
So to everyone else out there who's not me,
Right.
and who can watch
That's right.
scary movies without getting nightmares like a big baby,
Right, go watch it.
Oh my god,
It's real, real good.
What's so funny to me is I've had more than one person say to me, in all seriousness, you know it's not real, right?
Shut the...
And it's like, what? I thought I was watching documentaries.
So slap a
Yes,
bitch.
dumbass, I know it's not real, but I have that magical ability to suspend disbelief, which is how I've managed to make it this far in life.
Girl.
You know, it's like I can suspend disbelief. I can get so into the movie that, yes, in the theater watching The Descent, I screamed.
Oh, is
And-
that all you did? You swore?
I screamed and swore. Yes, that is true. But it was terrifying.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, but why would you intentionally go into an uncharted cave and then crawl through a hole that's barely bigger than your body in hopes that there's a hole on the other side you're going to get out
No,
of?
ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am.
None of it.
That sounds like life in America currently.
Again, that's white people.
I know, I'm just crawling in a hole. Hopefully there's light at the end.
Because white people, I was like, we're going to go take this really risky adventure, which we might die.
Just like, what's the point of living, man, if you're not taking those risks?
I do wonder, and this is a true wondering, and I've wondered this for years, if it's because white people have really had it so easy that they're like, we've got to take some risks that might kill us because we've had it too easy.
Well, I mean, but also a lot of that stuff is just like, you're out alone, very solitary. Sometimes you have a group of people, but you're out in nature alone. I'm just gonna guess that there are gonna be a lot of people of color and marginalized folks who aren't just gonna go out by themselves into the woods where they could no one's around to help you.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And a few years ago, this is reality and it's scary. A few years ago, there was this group of scary white people who basically held black people hostage.
Oh, yes.
Right? In the woods.
Yes.
As they were all just trying to camp. Like, horror, or they were hiking, something. They were just in the woods doing their own thing, and these white people are all black people in the woods. What are they trying to do? What? Bitch, so black people can't be anywhere. They can't be in a neighborhood. They can't be in the woods.
Your store.
You know what I mean? Yeah, they
No,
can't
right.
be. So that's crazy to me. But horror.
Well, yes, I actually did see that. And
Which is,
one of the people I follow on TikTok, Queen Work, look her up if you're on the TikTok. It's KWEENWERK, Queen Work. I think, or was it K or is it QUE? I
Girl,
don't
it's
remember.
Queen
But it's
Work.
Queen Work. She is all about, she's out hiking. Most of her videos, she's out hiking, she's in nature, and she's talking about how one of her goals in life is to make outdoor spaces safe for people of color. And you see these white people commenting all the time, it's like, you're outside, how can that not be safe? And she's actually shown videos of people getting questioned, getting harassed, getting whatever, because they're out in nature on a hiking trail. Why are you out here? Well, the same reason you're out here, stupid. To walk, to hike, to climb, to camp, to none of the things that I will be doing, but they're out there doing them, and it's like, just do it, leave it alone, and shut up.
Yeah, it's
Ugh.
crazy.
But since we got so far off topic, who cares? Blackula, and then of course the sequel to Blackula, Scream, Blackula, Scream.
And I like how we got off topic. We went ahead, and then now we're back.
I know, now we're back.
Blaxploitation.
We've circled back around to Blackenstein.
Oh, right.
I mean, really, did they just have to like hammer that one over the head?
I just love
Blackenstein.
I know.
And then Dr. Black and Mr. Hyde. I don't think it was necessary to put black in the title of everyone. I think we get it.
Yeah. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't have to say black, but I think
It's funny, and
Sure.
all these years later, it adds to it. But everyone I know who's older than children has heard of Blackula, and the actor who played. I love that the actor who played Blackula, William H. Marshall, went on to play the King of Cartoons on Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Oh, right.
I mean, so he was introduced to an entire another generation.
There's something very different.
There's something very different. Oh my god. I want to talk in that same genre. I'm going to talk about this and then we'll go take a little break. There was a movie called Abby.
Okay.
And it was a direct ripoff of The Exorcist.
Okay.
My favorite part of it is that they perform an exorcism on the dance floor of the disco.
Bitch, I'm about it. I'm about it.
I'm like, come on, really?
I'm here for it, though.
I mean, just the strobe lights. Maybe she was having a seizure. Did they ever think of that?
No.
No.
But
they got sued and had to cease and desist because
it's literally just Exorcist on the dance floor.
Right, pretty much.
Exorcism
they should have
on
called
the
it
dance-
that.
Exorcism
Wait, isn't
on
that a
the dance
remix
floor?
of a song? Exorcist on the dance floor.
Do you know how people are like Panic at the Disco? We have Exorcism at
Exorcist
the
on the-
dance floor.
I like it.
Me too.
I
Band
like
name
it.
called it.
Damn. All right, we're gonna take a break.
Bye.
And we are back.
Hi.
And of course, my clock's up. You know, I actually remembered to shut the clock off last week,
Mm-hmm.
which I clearly didn't remember to do.
We're
this
professionals.
week. But unlike what I said to you when you brought up my noisy clocks, that I was going to buy some more noisy clocks, I have not. In fact, I shut off the sound on the other clock that chimed at weird times.
God, it's our lucky day.
I know, right? Well, before we leave the topic of blaxploitation films, and by the way, if you just look up on the Google, on the interwebs, if you look up blaxploitation films, it gives you a very extensive list on Wikipedia of tons and tons of films. Check them out because some of them really are fantastic. Some of them are really corny, but movies are good and movies are corny. So, look them up, find some movies. Here's I think the most memorable thing about all of them to me were the soundtracks. Mm-hmm. I mean, really, you have like Isaac Hayes and Shaft and Curtis Mayfield, Superfly. By the way, I just want to share before I go off topic. Superfly is the song from the movie Superfly, which is the heartwarming. This is literally how it is written up. It's the heartwarming story of a cocaine dealer trying to retire by pulling off one more big score.
I love that.
I love that it's the heartwarming tale of
heartwarming.
a cocaine dealer. Well, gotta be what you gotta be. But Earth, Wind, and Fire was the soundtrack for Sweet Sweetback. All of these movies, Gladys Knight and the Pips did the music for Claudine, which, by the way, got Diane Carroll an Oscar nom. So go look at these amazing, amazing music. And to jump ahead, because one of the things I learned in looking at blaxploitation is a lot of the movies, after what we think of as that kind of typical time period, into the 80s, 90s, and even the 2000s, there are films that are considered blaxploitation films. One of my favorite soundtracks is from a movie called I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. And it is kind of a parody of the blaxploitation film, but doesn't feel as parody-ish as it should, because it just feels like a blaxploitation film. But the soundtrack is phenomenal. And I was surprised that one of the movies that they threw in there was The Wiz.
Oh,
I was like, how would that be blaxploitation?
Well,
I mean,
but it's because every character.
Every character is black, right?
It's set in more like urban, right?
Yes.
Technically, they made it more urban.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I get it.
My only problem with that, so the play, fantastic. The movie, Diana Ross was too old to play Dorothy.
Wasn't she?
She was double Dorothy's age. Should have stayed home and been like, I'll just produce the movie and make some money off it. Everyone else in it, fantastic.
Right.
Legendary people in it, like Lena Horne,
Michael
Jackson, Nipsey Russell. There's all these amazing people in it. Diana Ross is too old.
She was. No, that's just not great.
But
just too old.
Soundtrack,
wonderful.
Phenomenal. I had it on vinyl. I probably still do. And probably wore it out because I listened to it all the time. My favorite song on the soundtrack would not be probably what most people think of the song Home. Mm-hmm. My favorite song off the entire soundtrack was the one by the Wicked Witch. Mm-hmm. And it's called No Bad News. And sung by Mabel King, big black woman who's running a factory.
I love it.
And she's like pissed off all the time because she's the Wicked Witch. And she, has a whip and she's... Love her.
I love
and
that.
her whole thing is, don't bring me any bad news. I don't want it. I don't want to hear about it. If you want to be my friend, you're going to bring me good news.
And that's it.
Or shut the F up, whatever.
Yeah, basically.
So,
I feel the same way. Don't talk to me unless you're going to say something nice.
Or just don't talk to me.
Oh.
Just save it and don't talk to me. That's even better.
Unless you need to compliment me, just don't speak to me.
I suppose
That's like my favorite. If you need to compliment me, text me.
Okay.
I'm
good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we were also going to talk about some other films, like you had some documentaries you want to talk about.
So one of the documentaries is called I Am Not Your Negro, which is about, it was like an unpublished manuscript, essentially, by James Baldwin.
Right.
Who,
by the way, it's brilliant. I did just watch it. I've been meaning to watch it, and I just watched it the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. He was a brilliant man, though.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And he died in 1987, but the movie is about his perspective of, like, the civil rights movement and the civil rights leaders of the time. But it's very important. You should watch it. It's a good film. The other one, which I think is, I've had to watch this for class. I watched it independently, but everyone should watch it. It's called The 13th. It's by Ava DuVernay as the director.
Ava DuVernay is an amazing woman.
Well, she's done a lot, too, because she also has another one that I'm going to talk about. But The 13th is about the 13th Amendment, which is essentially a loophole, which makes slavery legal as a criminal punishment, right? So, like,
right.
You can have prisoners, clean up roads, do all this, like, hard labor, and you don't pay them anything.
Oh, no, they pay them. It is literally pennies a day.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's not actually anything at all. And if you remember that awful man who was from Arizona, Joe Arpaio, do you know who he is? He was the sheriff, who basically had, like, chain gangs, chain, and he made them wear pink, and, like, just to degrade them, made them live in tents half the time in Arizona in the desert, like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, he's a piece of garbage, and isn't he the piece of garbage that Trump pardoned?
Mm-hmm. And then he didn't realize that getting a pardon is admitting fault, but you're not getting punished for it, essentially.
Right.
So when he was called, he said, "Oh, so someone asked him, you got pardoned, so you're admitting that you did all this." And he's like, "That's not what that means. I was pardoned." And they're all, "No, so the pardon means that you're admitting fault, but you're not getting punished." And he's like, "I didn't do it. I got pardoned."
It wasn't me.
That doesn't make any sense. And the other one, it's not technically a documentary, but it's a true story. It's called When They See Us, about the Central Park Five. Right. The 5 juvenile black men who were arrested for the alleged... Well, this woman was raped and assaulted in Central Park, but not by them. But they were arrested because they were black and there and young.
Right. Well, and the other thing that's confusing to me about that... I mean, that whole story was confusing. I remember when it happened, because it was all over the news. But I also remember that the woman didn't say she was raped by 5 men.
No. Mm-mm.
And those just happened to be young men who were in the park. They were children. Mm-hmm. And there was a shit ton of proof that they were not the ones. But they were railroaded.
Yep.
And they was run through. And I hate to bring this guy up all the time because he's such a piece of garbage. One of the people who was pushing to have them executed was Donald Trump.
Shocker.
He took out a full-page ad in the New Yorker saying that these children should be executed.
For something they didn't do, and there was proof that they didn't do it.
And then when they were released, because there was they finally released the DNA evidence saying, these guys weren't it. Mm-hmm. None of them could be it. And, their lives are ruined.
Yep.
They've spent all this time in prison.
Yep.
And I'm sure they got some payout from lawsuits, and who cares?
Yeah, they spent between 5 to 12 years in prison. All of them except one who got out before 5 years, something like that.
Right. But it was even after it was proven that they were not guilty, he was still pushing to keep them imprisoned.
I mean, but we don't need to talk about Donald Trump's ethics because he doesn't have a single fucking one. Sorry.
No.
Sorry if I offended you and you're president.
Nothing. But that, if you want to watch that, was a multi-part mini series. That's the word I was looking for. And heartbreaking.
Yeah. It's very sad.
Was starring one of my favorites, Miss Niecy Nash.
Oh my god, who doesn't love Niecy Nash?
I love Niecy. I would watch truly anything with Niecy Nash in it.
Yeah.
Because, or I would just sit and listen to her talk, because I love Niecy. I think she's hilarious. But I also think she's brilliant.
Yep.
And I think that, didn't she just make a surprise in the last few years when, after being married, I think she was married to 2 different men, then she married herself a woman.
She sure did.
And I was like, well, what, Niecy?
Do your thing, bitch. Do your thing.
Good for you. I mean, props to you, mama.
Props to you, mama. How dare you?
Yeah,
and of all catchphrases, that's what you use.
But I'm sorry, that's the one that popped into my head because
Mom,
I love
follow
this.
me.
I'm gonna. So